March 1944. An American OSS operative moves through darkness in occupied France, 3 meters from a German sentry. Standard protocol prohibits gunfire within hearing distance of the guard post, approximately 200 meters away. The operative carries a weapon that weighs 340 grams, measures 140 millimeters in length when folded, and combines a double-edged dagger blade, a 6-shot 22 caliber revolver, and a set of brass knuckles in a single mechanism. He extends the blade, approaches from behind, and strikes. The sentry falls. The operative folds the blade, rotates the weapon's frame to expose the revolver cylinder, and advances toward the guard post entrance. 2 more guards emerge. He fires twice at 3 meters. Both fall. The weapon produces approximately 140 decibels, loud enough to alert nearby personnel, but quieter than standard service pistols. He completes the sabotage mission and withdraws. The device that enabled this sequence was not the famed Fairbairn-Sykes fighting knife, but a far more obscure weapon. A modern reproduction of the Apache combination weapon, one of several multi-function killing instruments developed for covert operations during World War II. These weapons violated every principle of specialized tool design by attempting to combine a knife, a pistol, and an impact weapon in a single package. They succeeded rarely, failed frequently, and disappeared from service shortly after deployment, remembered primarily as engineering curiosities that demonstrated why combination weapons generally fail to match purpose-built alternatives. Intelligence and Special Operations Forces in 1942 and 1943 faced a weapons selection problem that was tactical and logistical. Operatives inserting into occupied territory needed defensive capability, but could not carry extensive armament that would reveal their purpose if searched. A pistol was conspicuous. A knife could be explained. Combination weapons offered a theoretical advantage, a single device providing multiple attack methods in minimal space. The concept was not new. The Apache combination weapon, originally manufactured in France in the late 1800s, combined a folding knuckle duster, a short dagger blade, and a pinfire revolver in a configuration that folded to approximately fist size. Original Apaches were crude, unreliable, and largely ineffective, used primarily by Parisian criminals. The design attracted attention during World War II as a possible basis for improved combination weapons suitable for special operations. Development of modernized versions occurred at multiple facilities, including OSS research divisions and British SOE workshops. The fundamental challenge was allowing rapid transition between weapon modes while maintaining reliability in each mode. The revolver required a cylinder, a barrel, a firing mechanism. The knife required a blade long and rigid enough to be lethal. The knuckle duster required structural strength to withstand impact. Combining all three in a compact package forced compromises across every function. The resulting weapons typically used .22 or .32 caliber revolvers with 4 to 6 rounds, blade lengths of 70 to 100 millimeters, and knuckle duster frames that doubled as grips. Mechanical complexity was substantial. One 1943 variant used a folding frame where the knuckle duster formed the grip. The blade pivoted from one end and the revolver barrel extended from the opposite end. The cylinder sat between the knuckle duster rings and had to be rotated manually. Transitioning from knife to pistol required folding the blade, rotating the frame, and aligning the cylinder. With practice, this took about 15 seconds, faster than drawing and holstering multiple weapons, but slow enough that once firing began, the weapon often became irrelevant. The revolver had no sights, relying on point shooting at contact distances. The blade was short, marginal against heavy clothing. The knuckle duster worked, but weight distribution made it inferior to dedicated impact weapons. testing began in late 1943 at classified facilities in the United States and Britain. Results were consistently disappointing. Revolvers misfired, often due to cylinder misalignment or weak firing pin strikes. Small caliber rounds lacked stopping power, requiring multiple hits. Blade pivots loosened, causing wobble, reducing penetration effectiveness. Most critically, stress degraded performance. Even trained operatives misused the weapon under pressure. Documented cases include attempting to fire with the blade still extended or attempting to stab with the revolver positioned forward. Operational deployment was limited. Fewer than 500 units of various designs were manufactured between 1943 and 1945. Most were issued to OSS operatives and SOE agents. After-action reports rarely mention them, suggesting they were carried but not relied upon. Where they were used, the results were mixed. When surprise was total and range minimal, they sometimes worked. Beyond 3 meters, or when transitions were required, surviving operatives defaulted to conventional weapons or improvised alternatives. Comparison with specialized weapons explains the failure. The well-rod pistol was single-purpose and excellent at that purpose. The Fairbairn Sykes knife was optimized for silent killing. The .32 Colt automatic was reliable and concealable. Each outperformed the combination of weapons in its specific role. The theoretical advantage of carrying one device was erased by the reality that it did everything worse. Given a choice, experienced operatives chose conventional weapons. The problem was mechanical, not conceptual. Building a weapon that could function as a pistol, a knife, and a striking tool was possible, but required precision manufacturing unsuited to covert operations. The requirements were contradictory: small enough to conceal, large enough to kill, simple enough under stress, complex enough to transform. The designs failed to resolve these conflicts. Post-war analysis concluded combination weapons were a dead end. Reports from the late 1940s recommended against future development. Specialization worked. Generalization failed. Subsequent decades validated that conclusion. The concept resurfaced occasionally in civilian tools and niche experiments, but never achieved military success. The OSS operative in occupied France was one of perhaps several dozen to use such a weapon operationally. His mission succeeded, but his experience was exceptional. Most operatives either never used the weapons or abandoned them after the first contact. The devices remained in inventory until 1945, then were destroyed as surplus with no future utility. The engineering lesson was simple. A tool designed to do many things does each one poorly. World War II relearned this lesson through the failure of combination weapons. Guns that doubled as knives shot badly. Knives that doubled as guns cut poorly. And knuckle dusters that tried to be both were worse than cheap brass knuckles. The Apache combination weapon and its descendants proved that sometimes the simplest solution, carrying 2 weapons instead of 1, is also the correct one.